I'm trying to nail the work-life balance, or more like the work-party balance.
Tim.
Laura. Sooner or later, the party has to end.
Why?
Because you get left behind and you become a tragedy.
Tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Congratulations on just a great, enjoyable ride, kind of taking all sorts of dips and turns. But what specifically was it about this project and this screenplay that grabbed you and you most enjoyed bringing to life?
I read the script and it was just making me laugh so much. And I was like, we all have, most of us have had these kinds of relationships in our lives. And I feel like we've all been one of the two characters, Tyler and Laura. And so it's like, I was also really excited to get to be more of the Tyler character, because I think in my life I had kind of had essences of it, but always kind of looked up to this kind of hero-like person that you realize is flawed and human and actually really hurting, but how you just want to follow her around like a flame that you're not supposed to touch. And then, I saw Sophie's work and I was like, I want to work with this person. We were all so excited to tell this story. We were like, can you believe we get to do this?
For me, it was Emma Jane Unsworth's book, Animals. So she had written this book and I found that inside it were these characters that were very familiar, but also like people that I felt like I wasn't seeing much of on screen, and a kind of relationship at the center that was like that. But it also was really witty and funny, and I just felt like this is something that I want to just jump inside. I really wanted to celebrate this friendship as well. And sometimes that's hard in a story where it's essentially about the end of a friendship. It's hard to maintain a kind of celebration. And so we were always working towards how do we keep that feeling that we're not dismissing this idea, even as one of them needs to kind of leave it, that we're actually kind of valuing it and validating a friendship that's super important for everyone in their lives.
I need to start taking things seriously.
Do you hear that? It's the non-sound of the suburbs. They sell it as peace, but really it's just death closing in.
Describe the relationship that unfolded on screen. You would be able to take that turn from just the magic and the life and the joy, and then all of a sudden it was hard and it was just soul-crushing. How'd you guys find that balance?
It's funny because these guys didn't meet before we started. We were all kind of Zooming. And I think people often read a film like this and they're like, they just have amazing chemistry. And they certainly do, but they're just both really great actors. I'm not suggesting they dislike each other. That sounds like that's what I'm saying. There was certainly a beautiful kind of thing that happened between them. But for me, yeah, we did a lot of work that was just getting some sort of shared history together. But also they knew how to bring that. They both have an ability to go, this is what we're doing. And for this time, we create this world and this connection between us. A connection like that requires you to have a bit of awe of the other person, and that's really easy. And also a bit of grit sometimes, where they can really kind of pull off those scenes as well. For me, they just both embraced and embodied the roles so strongly.
Yeah, I think that's what was beautiful about the script. And again, the nuances that, Sophie was very aware of. And that's kind of what we talked about the most. It's yeah, there's really fun scenes where we're running around and we're screaming and locking the door and throwing stuff on each other. And I feel like with acting, it's kind of you're drawn to performances that have energy. And even if you're tired in the scene and you're crying and you're half asleep or whatever, it's there's still energy that makes you want to watch. What I think was for Tyler that I love so much was that she hits such highs and lows. So it's that kind of unhealthy relationship where someone is you're my everything. And you're oh my God, okay. And the next day they're what's your name? So I feel that's where the tension was. And that's what kind of sparked, the idea of what chemistry is between actors, is that you're both doing something different that hits each other really well. So you just keep batting it off of each other,
One day, you're gonna wake up 45 and you're not gonna know how.
Talk about the importance of the relationship that the three of you developed as this triple threat to create what you wanted to bring to screen.
It's really interesting as a director because you have this desire to be involved in everything and to see everything. But in a relationship like this, you also have to let them have something. And I always found it really important to be I don't need to know everything about their friendship or spend every minute with them. And so it's like, how do they kind of have these things? And I'm like the little bird in their ear talking about their own individual thoughts and ideas, and like, that were really just about me saying, like, you guys own something about this relationship. Especially in a kind of indie film like this, you're all together so much that you need to give people that space as well. It was weird coming up with, like, starting to make this and realising that we don't see very many stories of women as friends on screen. And we certainly don't put them at the centre, particularly with ones that sometimes behave a bit badly.
The stories that I like the most maintain specificity, you know, and like subtleties in how humans are, because that's why we love watching stories and we love watching film, and we're like, oh my God, this seems real. You know, like, I know I'm watching a movie, like no one thinks it's a documentary, but for a second you're in disbelief. I'm not a method actor by any means, but I think you kind of like, there's a part of you that you bring into every character, and I totally have been the kind of life of the party, loud storyteller, you know, kind of person. But then there's another side of me that's really not, and like plays it too cool and like steps back and goes outside for the cigarette, you know? But Tyler is not that. She's just like, I want the attention and I'm not scared about it. I love doing it. I loved it so much. But it was something new for me, for sure. Not playing like kind of composed all the time.
What's it about?
It's about a spider caught in its own web and a woman who rescues it.